And what I find is I don't necessarily have one that fits all particular situations. So I generally pick the one that I think that I'm gonna need, and usually it works out. But what I was trying to do is get something that I could use for just, more things. It's not too large, not too small. And then on top of that, I wanted to be able to carry additional stuff outside of my camera gear when I go out on these treks to actually shoot stuff. So the bag that I picked up, I'm gonna actually grab my phone just because it was a company I had never even heard of, but it's called Besnfoto, I believe. If I'm saying that wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. But it's a bag I picked up off of Amazon. I liked a lot of the pockets and the way it was configured, and we're going to go through some of that. So without further ado, I'm going to jump over to the bag so you can actually see kind of what I'm talking about. And I think that I made the right decision. So I'll get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is definitely going to be the outside. I think build quality of this thing is pretty impressive. Now, time will tell how well it holds up, but the outside surface, this is like a vinyl. It's really, really thick. And then on top of that, there are some surfaces that are like a really thick canvas. Bunch of pockets, bunch of straps, like for instance, the outside strap here. I like this idea because if you're a videographer and maybe you like to use a skateboard, which I do, you can, to smooth out your footage, you can actually strap your board to the back here. And then on top of that, it also has backpack straps, and then it also has handles to carry. And really the handles to carry was the one thing that I was really looking forward to. Sorry, have to undo this and put it back. Okay, because I like having this option. This actually reminds me of a helmet or aviation helmet bag I used to carry that was really versatile, but I didn't have the strap. So I think this is kind of like a win just because it offers both. On the outside here, you also have a lot of your pockets. So what we'll do is we'll start digging into what those pockets look like. Oh, sorry, jumping back to the back here. This is like really, really padded. A little bit overboard, but I'm wondering maybe once it starts to compress, the more I use it, it'll probably make a little bit more sense, but still not a complaint. Seems like it's going to be cushy. Then there's also some cushions on the inside there. And then there's a waist strap. You'll see these as I start going through because this backpack came with a lot of additional straps. A lot of them I just kind of put in some of the compartments on the inside just to keep up with them. Okay, so moving over to really the main feature of this backpack is the camera pocket, at least for me. So inside of here, you actually have a camera bag. The camera bag has the inserts that you can actually reconfigure however you want. I've set mine up so basically my mirrorless camera goes here. I can leave the lens on down, and then I have a protector kind of running the length of the camera, and then I have my mics underneath. And then that way the camera with the lens cover is going to rest up against it. And I did it that way because my plan is when I'm out and about and I'm shooting, I want to be able to just open this up, pull my camera out. The other cool thing was this is actually its own container. So let's say that you wanted some added security versus just opening up that pocket and risk your stuff falling out. You could just zip up that container and then just have access to this stuff. If you don't want that, which I probably don't for right now, they have the capability of tucking this particular cover underneath this flap. So then it just becomes one container. All right. And then also inside of here is, if you were to take this out, I'm going to move this out. These are some of the additional straps. So that was your waist strap that attaches to the backpack. This is actually for this container. So you could actually take this container out, carry it over your shoulder if you actually want it. Therefore, you have a smaller camera bag. And then there's a couple of other leaflets that or inserts that I put in here. I've got, my white balance card, some filters. Actually, I've got like a tripod in here. I've got a couple of handles for my cages. And I still feel like I have room. So, sorry, I'm going to stuff this back in here so I can keep up with it. But yeah, I think this is a really, really neat idea. And I don't really see taking the camera bag out too much to carry it on its own because I think the backpack for me is the right size. So, let me jump back over to the other compartments. I'm going to zip this back up, sorry. Really, like I said, normally I'm probably just going to have this tucked under and just make it into one compartment. So, moving right along, you also have a flap here with storage. So your storage options are going to be limited by the size, just because these are all sold in individual sections. I have batteries in here. You know, you may be able to do that with your camera depending on how big your battery is, and then memory cards as well. So yeah, and then they just stay secure. So when you do open this pocket, they don't just fall out. Okay. Zippers appear to be okay. At first, I was having some issues with the zippers, but I think I noticed the more that I'm starting to use them, they're starting to loosen up. At first, I thought if they didn't, I would probably like wax them or something just to try to get them a little bit more fluid as far as the movement is concerned. They also do this thing where they actually put the little tabs on the side to kind of show you what should probably go in there. So this has a little camera. The camera is actually sewed on upside down, which is weird, but what can you do? And that's really like my only complaint. It's not really a complaint because I don't care. But if you jump over to this side, this is where your tripod would actually go, just to kind of show you what it actually looks like. So basically you put it in there like that, and then you actually use your strap to cinch it down so it's not all over the place when you're trying to walk with this thing on, and then you're good. So neat feature. My other packs just don't have this, or if they do, this pocket is it's usually just two straps. So I shouldn't say they don't have it, but it's not set up like this. This pocket is actually covered in the same vinyl, and then it has the same heavy canvas on the side. So it's almost like they're trying to make it weather or water resistant as well, but then there's this opening that's here, so kind of defeats the purpose. But still, it's a neat feature because it seems like the build quality is pretty good, so maybe it'll last a lot longer. I'm going to move this back out of the way, and it will press on. So next key feature here is the laptop. So the laptop is meant for a 15 inch laptop. I have a 15.6 Lenovo X1. It fits perfectly. The other cool thing about this is a lot of my backpacks, they don't necessarily have a lot of padding. This thing has a ridiculous amount of padding. So there's the padding on the outside for your back. Inside, this is like its own sleeve in itself, and then there's padding here. So your laptop's going to be well protected. There's no sense or reason in adding any additional padding via a sleeve. So really love that idea. And you can only access this from the outside of the bag, which I actually prefer because all my other bags, I have to go inside the bag to get to the darn laptop. So I like that idea. The only downside is this is outside the bag, and unless you use the rain cover, which I'll show to you shortly, it's going to be not protected, right? So you can use a rain cover, cover the top, but I still think if you get really drenched, water's still going to get in, okay? That's why you should buy a Lenovo, because guess what? They are water resistant for the most part, and they have drain ports. All right, so there's the handle. The handle is just put together by a couple of straps or pieces of Velcro. I don't know how long this is going to last. If it does wear out, I'm just going to sew new Velcro on, and I'm probably even maybe sew up a little attachment so it's like more like a gym bag, so I'll have a piece of material that just cinches all this together, and then that way I think it'll be a little bit more secure. But for now, I think it's fine. One of the features I noticed about it, to kind of show you what I'm talking about here, is this right here is like aluminum, a magnet built in here. So what ends up happening is it actually cinches itself. It stays. It secures, is what I should say. And then you could cinch it up here to make it even more secure. That was like really neat to me. I didn't even notice it once again until this morning when I started messing around with it. Another neat feature of this bag is on the inside. So technically, this is its own compartment from this when you have the camera bag in. Once I open this up, by the way, there is a zipper, so it keeps your stuff in there. You'll notice that there is a bottom, but the bottom can be taken out. It actually is attached by Velcro, and then right on top of that, if you take it out, you're going to see the camera bag. Okay? So, therefore, if you really wanted to, you could actually fill up this entire thing from top to bottom and just have one gigantic container if that was your desire. In addition to that, there are pockets inside of this bag. So there's one here. I'm going to open it up so I can hopefully show it to you. That's just a zipper pocket. It only runs the top part of the bag. And then there's also some Velcro pockets here. This is going to be a little bit more difficult to show to you, but they are located. Let me see if I can get this just right. All right, there we go. So they are located right there. Probably need to scoot back some, I'm sorry. Okay, Yeah, so the Velcro pockets are located right here. There's two of them on both sides, and like I said, the zipper is actually up here. Lot of darn space. And then what you can do, if you were to pack this thing, you know, to the top, you just zip this up. And really, if you wanted to, you could walk around with it on your back like this. Now, depending on what you're putting at the top, you probably don't want anything too top heavy. But kind of what I thought about was I have a lot of inserts from camera cases that technically, if I want, and I want to carry two cameras and keep the two systems separate, I can put a whole new system or a whole different system up here. Very similar to when I used to carry my Canon as well as my Panasonic. And that's probably what I would actually end up doing. The one that I'm going to actually pull out and shoot, you know, on the fly would be down here because it's easier to get to. Maybe, I don't know that yet, because maybe depending on how I have it set up, it might be fairly simple to get to up here too, because then it's just one zipper, take it out. But yeah, neat feature. And then if you're not using this compartment, what you can do is, bear with me, zip it up. So, and then once you zip it up, once again, there's that neat magnet feature and you're good to go. There is another pocket here. Like this thing has a lot of pockets on the very front. So this pocket would be protected from the weather just because, you know, the outside of it is coated in the vinyl. And then I also noticed that the zipper, the zippers are sealed. So really it's kind of hard to show this probably in the film. I'm going to show it to you anyway. So what they did is they actually sewed the same material on top of the zipper, which I thought was pretty amazing. So to me, this would probably be the most waterproof pocket you have. Now, what I have in here right now is the rain cover. The rain cover is for the entire bag. The one caveat would be is if you decided to use this top compartment and you extended it all the way out and stuffed it with stuff, this will not fit over everything. So therefore, the smarter thing would probably be to just cover this top part with the bag, because the top part is made out of canvas. It's not made out of the same material here that probably would be more water resistant. So just so you know, if you do decide to do that. Overall, I think this is a pretty good purchase, especially for the price. The next closest bag that I could find to this that was, you know, a little bit more well-known as far as the name brand is concerned, I believe. I'll have to look it up again. But it was about $250 for that pack. And then they just go up from there. So I think that, you know, for the amount of money I paid for it, as long as there isn't any like issue carrying it, I think this is a pretty good investment so far, initially. The other thing that I will point out is on the bags, you know, they have a lot of clamps, right? Or I should say a lot of ways to secure or cinch down your cargo. But they aren't necessarily all made out of metal. So even though these are all plastic, and you know, I'll tell you, that's not really a big deal to me, because a lot of the bags that I've seen or I've owned, they have the exact same thing and they cost more than this thing does. So that's not shocking. You know, worst case scenario, if I did shatter or break one of these things or they were unusable, I would just replace it. Not really a huge concern of mine. That's plastic. And that's plastic as well. Like these rings, who knows, one day, maybe I'll take them off and actually just replace them with metal, because I would prefer these to be metal if anything, but they don't necessarily have to be. But yeah, that's it. So once again, this is the Besnfoto? I have no idea. But if you have any questions about this bag, feel free, leave them down in the comments. Click like, subscribe. Once again, I'll put up links to where I got this thing. Thought it was a pretty good investment. They only had two colors. There was black, and then there was actually black with this zipper being a gray stripe. But that was it. And I guess that pretty much does it for this video. Agent Fitz signing out.